Have you ever wondered why some people accumulate fortunes who can't even spend, while others, even with good salaries, live in the squeeze until the next payment? This difference often has nothing to do with intelligence, academic background, or family origin. I've met people without a diploma who built financial and other cultured and brilliant empires who always complained about the lack of money. Today, I want to share with you a principle that may seem too simple to be true, but completely changes the way we see prosperity. It seems strange at first glance, but I ask you to follow until the end, because this idea can transform your relationship with money. The secret is not talking anymore, but to shut up at the right time. It looks contradictory, isn't it? After all, we grow up believing that we need to impose ourselves, show our value, explain our ideas with vehement to gain space. I myself, as a young man, acted like this, interrupted conversations, argued nonstop, thinking that silence would make me look weak or invisible. But over time, I realized something curious. Those who spoke less at meetings ended up closing the best business, getting the best conditions, and taking advantage of the best opportunities. I began to observe and understood that mastering silence is to master the situation. In a negotiation, for example, those who keep silent makes the other person reveal more than they intended. The more someone speaks, the more they expose their intentions, weaknesses, or true needs. In discussions, those who control themselves and are not carried out by emotion conveys more authority than those who scream. In life, silence allows us to capture not only words, but what is behind them: fears, doubts, hidden opportunities. There is a Jewish saying that says, if the word valley silver, silence is worth gold. When I first heard this, I didn't understand. I thought the words were powerful tools. With them we convince, we influenced, led. But what could silence offer? The experience showed me that wisdom was just there, where I least expected. Today, when I think of wealth, I realize that the greatest assets are not built by those who make more noise, but who knows how to hear, and especially by those who know how to shut up at the right time. Silence is not empty. It is a space where the best decisions are born. Reflect. The most important choices of your life have been made in the midst of noise or stillness, when the mind calms down and ideas organize themselves. Remember those moments when, after a chaotic day, you sit in a quiet corner, turn off the distractions, and suddenly everything makes sense. It is in stillness that we hear what the noise drives. However, few people can stand the silence. Many are afraid that if they do not speak, they will be ignored, will lose opportunities, or seem insecure. And it is precisely this haste to fill the voids that lead to errors both financial and personal. Anyone who learns to feel comfortable pauses, on the other hand, always comes out ahead. Now I want you to pay attention to what comes next, because we will explore how silence can help accumulate, preserve, and multiply money. I will explain why Jewish financial wisdom has always associated the wealth not with the amount of words, but with the ability to listen. And I will share episodes of my life where the simple fact of not talking or talking too much made all the difference in my pocket. Stop and think. Are you losing more than you think about just why you should hear? After all, money is energy, and energy is better in calm. Like water in a jar, the less we stir it, the less we lose. I promise that, until the end, you will see silence with other eyes, not as weakness, but as a powerful tool. Maybe it's the missing key to open doors that you didn't even know existed. When we talk about wealth, most people think about numbers, bank balances, real estate, cars, or business. But if we go deeper, we will see that true abundance begins in mind, and that's where silence plays a key role. I will tell you some stories that taught me that knowing how to listen and shut up is a more valuable coin than it seems. The first lesson came from a negotiation when I was just over 20 years. We were in a meeting with an influential man who could leverage our project. In my anxiety for impressing, I said nonstop, detailing plans, promising results, justifying each point. He heard in silence, until, at one point, he leaned forward and said, you say so much that neither do you nor you can understand what it is. That phrase was a bucket of cold water. I understood that the noise hides insecurity, the fear of not being enough, of losing the chance, of seeming unprepared. I lost that negotiation, but I got a lesson that I take to this day. Sometimes silence says 1,000 words. The second story came from an old Jewish merchant. He once asked me, do you know how to identify a rich man on the market? I thought it was for the clothes or the expensive products I bought. But he smiled and answered, the rich is the one who least bargains. He watches, listens, and acts at the right time. He knows that the hurry is the enemy of money. Since then, I have valued the moments of stillness more. When we stop to listen and observe, we see details. When a price is inflated, when someone is bluffing, when words do not match the intentions. The third lesson came from an expensive mistake in an important negotiation. The conditions were favorable, but to some extent my interlocutor paused. Silence made me bothered, and to fill it, I began to offer discounts, relax deadlines, and make unnecessary concessions. If I had kept me quiet, the deal would have been closed in the original terms much more advantageous to me. That experience taught me that often calm and not giving into the hurry of speaking yields more than any persuasion skills. Why is silence so powerful? Because it creates space for reflection, protects from impulsive decisions those we make in the heat of the moment, impulse purchases, contracts signed for fear of losing the opportunity, debts assumed under pressure. How many times do we act like this just so that we don't seem to be hesitating? Imagine a different posture now. Someone tries to rush you, subscribe now. It's just today. And you answer, quiet. I'll think and give the answer tomorrow. At this moment, you recover the control. It is no longer hostage to circumstances and dictates them. Jewish wisdom always knew that. From an early age, we learn that words have weight, but silence has value. And it is in this balance that it is built not only fortune, but also peace of mind. Because wealth is not just what you have, but how you think, act, and above all, hear. There is an old saying that is repeated as a mantra: 2 ears, a mouth. This is not by chance. It means that we should hear twice as much as we say, and this proportion is not random, it is strategic. A rich man is not the one who speaks more, but the one who hears what others ignore. When you listen, you see beyond words. It realizes the hidden motives, the true needs of the other, the breaches that no one else knows. And that's where the advantage is. You offer exactly what the other needs without having to ask. Now imagine the opposite. Whoever speaks nonstop hears nothing, and those who do not hear lose the most valuable, the information that can transform a negotiation, an investment, or even a lifetime. How to turn silence into wealth. Thule will share with you practical steps tested on the fire of negotiations and difficult decisions. 1. Mind the brakes. In a conversation, when you finish talking and silence sets in, don't run to fill it. Let the other break the stillness first. It is in this void that people reveal what they really think or what they tried to hide. 2. Also listen to what is not said. The words lie, the silences no, a hesitation, sigh, too long a break. All this is language. Sometimes what has not been said is more important than what has been pronounced. 3. Give time to time. Before a large purchase, a signature, or an investment, sleep on the subject. What seemed urgent at night can be a mistake in the morning. Hurry is an enemy of fortune. 4. Note in the silence. At a meeting, at a negotiation, or even at dinner, pay attention to what happens when no one is talking. Who moves nervous? Who avoids eye contact? Who tries to initiate the attention? These signs are headlights that guide intelligent decisions. 5. Control your emotions. Money likes calm. Those who scream, justify, or despair loses energy, and with it the power of negotiation. Who remains in silence retains the strength. He who speaks too much is often trying to convince himself. I don't say that as the theory. I speak as who lost money by hasty words and recovered fortunes thanks to silence. Today I can say for sure, silence is its most valuable capital. It is worth more than cheap promises and fiery speeches. Silence is the art of trusting in time, because everything comes to who knows how to wait and listen. We started with a simple but deep question. Why do some people enrich while others, even working as much as they remain in the same place? And along this way, we find that the answer is not just in talent, nor in knowledge, nor in luck. Wealth comes to those who cultivate inner stillness. Stop and think. How many decisions did you make in the heat of emotion? How many times have you answered too fast, afraid of missing an opportunity? How many times did you spend money just because you couldn't wait? Now imagine if instead you gave yourself a moment of silence, if it did not react to each provocation, if it did not run after fads, if you didn't fear the emptiness of a break. At this moment you become the owner of the situation. It comes to see what others do not see. Jewish wisdom teaches, whoever speaks too much is placed narrowly. Maybe listen. I for the best price and sell with profit. I saw this hundreds of times throughout life. The rule is one: who shuts up, who makes noise, loses, because the noise is waste of energy, focus, opportunities. The stillness, by contrast, is accumulation. Who screams spins, who remains serene, keeps strength. When a person lives promoting himself, exhausting himself in words, he dissipates his power. But when it is calm, concentrated, and silent, it accumulates. This is why silence leads to money. It brings clarity, right decisions, and the ability to see opportunities where others only see noise. What can you apply today? Remember, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen to twice what you say. Never make important decisions in the middle of the riot. Give yourself a break. Even if everyone says it's urgent, use silence as a weapon in the negotiations. Let others bother with the breaks. You will turn them into advantage. Enjoy the moments of stillness. It is in them that the wisest ideas and the most profitable business are born. My final advice, friends, wealth are not just numbers in the account. It is the ability to live in harmony with oneself, to see beyond the obvious and to decide with serenity, not under pressure. Silence is not weakness, it is a huge force. It is the basis on which wisdom, health, success, but money is constructed. Remember, money loves order, and order is born in silence. If these words resonated with you, don't stop here. Follow this channel to more insights from Jewish financial wisdom, real stories, and practical strategies that work. Like, comment, and share. Your feedback inspires me to keep dividing what I learned. And above all, never forget, sometimes the wisest word is silence, and it may be precisely that it will lead you to the wealth you deserve.